Hey guys, because of the fact that I didn't actually read that many books in July, in fact I only read 4 books, I have got 2 cover designs that I'm going to be discussing with you today. One that I really liked and one that I didn't particularly like, although it is not the worst one that I've ever seen. And I am going to start off with the negative one, and that is All Our Yesterdays by Kristin Terrell. Generally with book covers, I'd imagine them to have an overall specification of having at least something to do with the book. Not just the characters, but something overall to do with the book. And with this design, I don't see anything that relates to it other than the 2 figures, which are obviously Em and Finn from the book itself. If they were doing something that actually related to the whole storyline, then I'd kind of understand that a little bit more, but they're just literally headshots, and not very nice headshots at that, in my opinion. There are 2 other main aspects other than the figures, and that, first of all, is the heart logo between the heads, and I'm not entirely sure what that is. Is it a logo for All Our Yesterdays? Is it something that was mentioned in the book? Because I personally cannot remember anything to do with a heart logo in this book whatsoever. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, seriously, but I don't know, it just seems a little bit redundant on the cover and doesn't really mean anything to me. The second part is the picture of cracked glass behind the text. Now, what's that got to do with anything? And it doesn't even look that good. It kind of blends in with the text in itself because the text looks as though it's cracked. But I think that overall, that glass picture with the text, I know this sounds harsh, but it looks as though somebody's got a little bit too Photoshop happy, and they just think that a good design equals millions of filters put on everything. You've got the glass, you've got the cracks, you've got the outer glow in like the most horrible yellow on the text, and it just generally glows as well, and I don't think it's a really good look, to be honest. It just looks really messy. 2 colours go to a certain extent. It's all yellow but in different hues of it, and it goes, but I don't think it necessarily looks nice on the cover. Also, with regards to the text, I don't like the way that All an Hour is bigger than Yesterday's, because if anything, yesterday is the more substantial word as such, because technically they're going back into the past, so therefore it would be their yesterdays. And I don't get why there's an emphasised all an hour, and the fact that there's a little tagline in the middle of All an Hour as well kind of confuses me. I just don't think the layout of this book is any good. The only thing it's got going for it is the fact that it's symmetrical, but I don't think that it really matters that it's symmetrical. It just doesn't flow. Onto the one that I absolutely loved, and I've mentioned this a little bit. It is Various Pets Alive and Dead by Marina Lewica. Although it looks quite complicated, this book design is actually really simple. It is literally just a white background with some illustrated typography put on the top, and typography designs are my all-time favourite cover design looks, as they are just so simple yet they can look quite complicated. This one in particular I really love because of the fact that it relates to the title and everything that actually happens into it. Each letter is worked around a different animal because it's all about various pets alive and dead, so therefore they've worked into the design different animals in different shapes to create the different letters. I have said different a million times! And not only are these relating to the title, they're also relating to things in the book. With regards to what I said about All Our Yesterdays, this design does actually relate to things that are happening in the book, because a couple of the pets are actually mentioned in the story itself, and you think to yourself while reading, wait, that's actually on the front cover, and that's what makes it interactive to the book. I like covers where something happens in the book and it makes you actually look at it and kind of dissect it as such, or when you finish the book you go back and look at the cover and you think, oh, actually that actually relates to it, or that actually happened in the book, and I just find things like that really intriguing to look at. The general spacing and the layout of the front is actually really nicely done, as everything's spaced evenly and it has an overall flow to it that creates this simple look, and this simple colour scheme of red, orange, yellow and blue really stands out for me, and I absolutely love that colour scheme. Oh, is that gonna say? That's at a really odd angle right now. Ah! book down. There's not much more I can say about this cover design other than I absolutely love the simplicity of it. I think that the simplest designs are sometimes the best designs, and you don't always like plots, funnily enough. You don't need to have some extravagant design for it to be a good design, and I think you can make a good cover design out of not that many elements. If I'm being honest with you, I didn't actually know anything about this book before I picked it up. I remember seeing it on Lena's channel. I think it was on Just Kiss My Frog before she moved on to Girl Saw Comet, but I saw it on her channel and I was like, oh my god, that is the most amazing cover that I have seen in a while. I need to get that book. And sometimes I have those little phases of picking out books just because of the cover and not really knowing anything about what the book is about. But luckily for me, this book was absolutely fantastic to go along with the fantastic cover design. So all's good that ends well. All's well that ends well. All's good that ends well. Is that even the right saying? Let me check. Nope, I was wrong. It's all's well that ends well. I'm not even quite sure anymore whether that actually relates to what I was talking about, but at the end of the day, I love it. Anyways, that's all from me, and I will speak to you soon. Bye!